Hello again, Roland Park Dragons. I'm back to share some more of our decoding strategies with you so that when you are reading at home and you come across some tricky words that you're unsure of, you remember those strategies that you've been working on all year at school with your teachers. And a couple weeks ago, I shared a document that looks like this on the homeroom page, and I uploaded a short video just kind of getting you ready for some of those strategies that we were going to be looking at. And so this is there for you guys to go back and print off if you'd like to have it, or just to take a look at on your computer. And I will also have this video located in the same place. It's under the pinned items on the homeroom page there for you guys in kindergarten. Okay? So in order to do this, I have kind of a lot of materials here today. So if you see me kind of going back and forth, that's what I'm doing. I just want to make sure that I am very clear about the strategy, since I'm not there to talk to you and kind of find out what might be confusing to you and what might not be. So I thought it would be fun to continue talking about those strategies in the book that we started called No Titus by Claire Mazarelle. So I'm going to be reading this, and you'll notice my little post-it notes here. That's to remind me those are the pages that I want to stop and kind of talk to you about, because as I was reading this book the first time, I came across some tricky words and I had to use some of my strategies here to help me figure out those words. So I'm going to just stop and talk about those when I come across them and point out to you some of the things that we can do to help us figure out those words, and we're going to enjoy a story along the way. And then this video will be here for you to come back to at any time and take a look at to remind you of some of those strategies that can help you out when you're trying to figure out those unknown words, okay? So first and foremost, we want to remember we're always asking ourselves, does this make sense? So if we read a word and we read a sentence, we were unsure of a word in the sentence, we have to ask, did that make sense? And if it didn't make sense when we read it, then something might be wrong that we need to take a second look at. And that's kind of like similar to, does it sound right? Does it sound right? A little bit has to do with, does it make sense? But it also has to do with the sounds of things. So do the letters in the word kind of match up with the sounds that we're hearing? Does it sound the way it would be in a sentence if we were speaking, or if somebody was speaking to us? Does it sound right? And then the third one is, does it look right? So if we're saying a word and it doesn't really match up with what we see there in front of us, it doesn't really look right. So those are the three cues that we want to be thinking about all the time. Does it make sense? Does it sound right? And does it look right? Okay? So we are going to take a look, as I said, at our story No Titus by Claire Mazarelle. No Titus. Welcome to your new home, Titus, said the... And this is the one, if you watched last week, that I got a little bit confused on. I got stuck on this word. And when I came to that, I decided I was going to use one of my strategies. And I chose first, of course, I looked at that word, and it really just didn't make sense to me. I couldn't figure it out. So I decided to use some picture clues. So I looked at my picture clues, and I backed up away, and I looked at that whole picture. And I thought the first sound was... So I'm going to try that again and see if now it makes sense when I consider the whole picture here. Welcome to your new home, Titus, said the farmer. That makes sense. And I used my picture clues to help me figure that out. This farm needs a good dog. Titus wagged his tail. He wanted to be a good dog, but what was a good dog supposed to do? And you know what? The first time I read this book, I also got stuck on that word right there where it says wagged. Titus wagged. That was confusing for me also. So when I read it, what I did was I skipped it. And I said, Titus blank his tail. What makes sense to me there? And what made sense was he wagged his tail, right? I look at the beginning and end with wagged makes sense there. So I asked myself, does it make sense? And I also use this strategy called read, skip, read, where we hop over the word and keep reading. We go back and we use our clues to figure out that word, and then we reread it again. And that's exactly what I did when I came to the word wag.